Okay, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working on a 2015 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, and the issue we're having is the transmission's been replaced with a brand new transmission. The transmission did not come with the installation CD, which realistically it doesn't need it because there are online resources to help you get the coding that you need to initialize and set up the new transmission. The problem is Mitsubishi's website is flat out wrong about a few things and very misleading, and probably it's because of a language thing. Things didn't get translated properly or whatever, but it was about half a nightmare trying to figure this out. And probably by researching, looking at different videos, following different leads, reading the papers, reading all sorts of programming, technical sheets and everything like that, I've probably got 15 to 18 hours tied up in learning how to do this. And the sad thing is, once you know how to do it, it's a 15 to 30 minute process. It's not a big deal at all. It's just such a screwed up mess that nobody seems to be able to overcome the problem. And I've watched all sorts of things, and everybody tells you how to do it, but nobody actually gets through it. And you only get bits and pieces of information from one person or another, or one document or another. And I guess I'm going to quit rambling for now and get to business. The first thing that you got to do is you have to set up an account. And you come over here to the left hand side where you have member login. Already a member, had paid my subscription, it expired. It won't let me log in again with that right now, so I have to go in and become a new member again. It's going to hopefully remember most of my information, but you click on this and of course it highlights and all that kind of stuff. And then you come down here, and if you hit local dealer, all that's going to happen is be sent to a website that tells you where the nearest Mitsubishi dealer is to you, and that really doesn't help you. Like I said, you're looking for a place to sign up, and there's the word continue, and you gotta go under local dealer US. You click on it, and it opens you up to a window, and you have to enter your name, address, shop name, all that good stuff, user ID, passwords, to be able to get everything set up. It's pretty self-explanatory. I hope you're beyond not knowing how to do this. And there is a button up here. Click here for information. It explains what you're going to get, how many days you get it, and for how much money. I'm going to go back. I have already filled this out, so I really need to be back on the renew membership. So I'm going to go back one more page. Like I said, if you're a first-time user here, you have to fill out these boxes and then hit submit down here. Of course, you got to check off that you've reviewed all the information on all that nonsense. But anyways, I'm going to go to renew, and it's going to let me put in my username and my password, if I can remember what the heck it is. And hopefully this is not going to display on the screen. So I have to go back and block it all out. And of course it comes up login required, and now you can read your subscription to access Mitsubishi Service Information website has expired. Please click here to renew your membership. And I go right there and click on it, and then I'm right back to the same point, but it brings you right back to the screen that you would fill out if you were a new member, but it has most of your information filled out. I'm looking to make sure everything looks right, and it seems to. I'm going to do this one more time. And I am, what is it, restore previous values. I'm going to have to experiment with this now. I don't know if it'll restore my previous passwords or not, so let's see what it says. Nope, just got to do the password again. Check off the OK and hit submit. And you just have to wait and wait and wait. And then you're going to continue, and it gives you it's going to go to a screen that tells you asks you which way you want to pay. And of course, if you're using PayPal, you click that. If you're using a regular credit card, you click this. And you fill out all the appropriate information, and I'm going to be blocking all this out, and I'll redo it with everything blank because I don't want to give out all my information. For right now, I have to buy membership again. I did this the other day and successfully reprogrammed this computer or transmission. Let's see, hopefully this is not going to put my card number out there. No, it's going to put my card number out there. So we are going to turn off recording for right now, because I'm not going to have my card number recorded anywhere. Okay, I'm successfully logged in now, and hopefully I'll be able to continue on fairly well uninterrupted from here. Got a little bit of scratching noise back here because I'm putting all my identification stuff up. And like I said, if you look over here to the left hand side, it's got my ID there, expires tomorrow, yada yada yada. Yeah, today's April 1st. How you like that? Let's see, I want to see what review current thing looks like. We don't want to do that. We're going to go back. Does it have a back button? Nope. Okay, we're signed in, ready to go, right? At least we think. The next thing we have to do is go up here to R2R and J2534 pass-through. You click on that, and it gives you an explanation of what everything is and what you got to have to work on it. There's a lot of, I guess, misinformation in here, because number one, it says you have to use Windows 7. I'm using Windows 10, and the date is April 1st, 2023. So things are a little bit outdated here. And let's see, one other thing it shows you is that you have to use either the DrewTech or the Bosch Diagnostic J-Box or J2534 DCI box. And I was worried that I was going to be kicked loose and wouldn't be able to do anything because it says one or the other, but I was able to use my Autel Elite and it went through with no problem at all. So the next thing we do, we go down here. We got to get back on track here. A lot of stuff you can read through, and like I said, some of it's real, some of it's not exactly true. And we go to the next page, VIN search. And I'm going to put in the VIN of the vehicle I was looking at. We'll probably have to go through and unhighlight that so there's nothing sensitive going out anywhere. And it identifies it as the 2015 Outlander Sport RVR 211. And the most important thing is it's got the F1 CJC CVT two-wheel drive transmission. And that is what we have, and that is what the main issue is. We can't get the damn transmission to shift right. It has a real lazy, you put it into drive, and it kind of has a real slow shift into where you feel it lock in. After it's locked in, it seems to kind of drive okay, but we don't want to tear anything up, so we want to make sure it's programmed properly per Mitsubishi instructions. So, back to the task. After the information has been verified, click here to continue. And we click there to continue. Now it gives you all sorts of links here about how to download the software, and you can do that. I've already done it on this computer. It's a bunch of, it says you got to do it in a particular order, but I screwed up and didn't do it right, and I went in there. I think I started at step 3, went back and did step 1, then finished up with step 2. I don't think it really matters as long as you get it all installed there and it's all happy. But the next thing we're going to do is after you've got that all installed, you come down here to the bottom of the page, and this is where the magic kind of halfway begins. We're not going to be doing a reflash. We're not going to be initializing the controller, because that would be if we were replacing the TCM or transmission control module. What we want to do is perform the CVT8 transmission coding operation, only available to current subscribers, which I am again by giving them another 20 bucks. Now, this is the interesting part. Well, there's lots of interesting parts, lots of lies. I'll have to show you some of the information later on as we get through different things. No, I have the number. It'll be okay. It says to please enter the vehicle transmission serial number and the hardware part number you retrieved from pass-through CAN reader. Okay, well the transmission number that we have is a YX47890. The number that we've been told to use, the hardware number off of from the scan tool, from the scan of the system, and you go in there and you read the number and it says hardware number, and this is the hardware number, and we hit the button and no records found. Now they tell you that up here on the serial number off the transmission, you have to drop the year code out of there, which is 15. When you're reading it off the transmission, it actually reads as a Y15X47890. Instructions tell you not to use that. So you say, okay, no records found, maybe the instructions were wrong, so you go back in there and put the 15 in there. And you try it again. And it's still no records found. And you go through and you say, well, maybe it's the software number, not the hardware number. So you try that. And you tried every combination that you could possibly think of, because it tells you to get the information retrieved from the pass-through CAN reader. And it just doesn't come up. The interesting thing is, I tried probably 40 or 50 different things here, trying to get something to read. I even went back to the original transmission that came out of the vehicle, got the serial number, using the hardware number that we had just put in there, along with the software number and the long digit number and everything else you can find on the scan, and tried it in there, and it was still no record found. And I thought, well, something's got to be bad wrong here. And I was reading through some of the paperwork that I had about how to break down the serial number. And when you look at the little picture, it shows you the whole number, and it shows you the serial number to the right and the part number to the left. And I'm going to have to bring this up on another screen and weave it into this thing somehow. So I said, no, it couldn't be that. They're telling us the wrong thing from the very get-go. But I went through and I got this code, which according to the breakdown on the paperwork is the part number of the transmission itself. Not the part number read through the scan tool, but the transmission itself. And I clicked on that. Okay, let's try and see what we get. And oh my God, this is one of the things I hate about this thing. Every time you turn around, it kicks you out of this thing. So now I have to go back and click there to reinitialize. Sign back in. And it wants a verification code, and that's something that I didn't mention a while ago. It is going to ask you to put an app on your phone, and I think this video is going to be cut short because somebody is here to get a vehicle. You have to put in a verification code that changes every like 5 seconds. Six, 3, 5, 6, 8. And I'm back in again. Whew. Now I got to start the process all the freak over again. And I'm back here to where I was just a second ago, ready to click the magic. And this happened so many times the first time I was doing it, it's not even funny. But anyways, this is all the coding that's off of the transmission, except for the year, which would be a 15 right here between the Y and the X. But all that is just straight off the transmission. And we're going to hit go, and hopefully it won't kick me off again. And you have to, it takes you to another page. It doesn't say you couldn't find the report or anything like that. And it gives you the whole procedure for setting everything up. And then you look down the bottom of the page and there's your code. Now, another step of the magic sauce is you need to save this to your computer so that you can transfer it to a flash drive. Got to say this again. You have to save this to your computer and then go in there and take that file and send it to a flash drive. It's kind of absurd, but that's what you got to do. And you'll see more about that once we get the MUT3 program opened up. But anyways, I have saved this, I believe. Yep, just clicking there and saving. And I'm going to hit open, and you're going to see an Excel file open that has all sorts of gibberish that I don't, I'm not going to go through and copy all that code by hand, and on top of that, there's no place to copy the code. But anyways, it's in your file system. You go in your file folders, you find it, and you right click on it and send to, and whatever the name of your flash drive that you put in, and you save it there. And now we're going to move on to the next step, and it's going to take me a minute or so to get set up, so I'm going to stop recording for right now. And we're into the MUT3 program. You come down here to transmission, and you pick out the transmission type and body style that you got. And the class is, I believe, this one right here. And then you have to go over here to the ECLA, AT, CVT, yada yada yada. And you have to click check. And you go to special function. And let's see what's in there. And I'm not signed in because this is how it looked last night when I was trying to get into this thing and do a video then, and it didn't work out. But anyways, you can see right here, this is the scanned hardware part number that it tells you to use in the instructions that you're not supposed to use. And this is the software number, which is the exact same number with the OD or 0D placed after it. So now what I got to do is I got to try and sign into the son of a gun again. And I've read that other people have had trouble signing in, so hopefully I can get that done. I'm going to go back to the home screen. And there is no place to just log in. So I'm going to log back out. And hopefully I don't lose you. Okay, we got to get the two-factor code now, so I got to switch screens. Oh, Lordy. Oh, my Lord. Something went wrong again. This is just everything with this site. Hopefully I'm signed in properly now and this thing will open up correctly. And like I said, we have to pull out the right transmission code. And the class of vehicle, I believe, is the XLAT. This is where I was working from the other day. We click on highlight the transmission section and click the check mark. Okay, now you can see there's a lot more things to look at here. And all of it is going to be needed at some point. But you come in here and look at the ECU information, and it's the screen I was showing you a little bit earlier. And if you look at this number right here, this would be what I would think was the scanned hardware part number, because it says hardware part number and I only got it through a scan. So it should be what they're asking for, but it's not. And I explained that earlier. Hopefully you remember. And you would think that, okay, I'm just going to click this off. Hey, it worked today. Earlier in the week when I was doing this, I had to actually go back and hit the up button every time. So what we want to do is we want to go to right calibration value, and it's going to open up two readings. One is calibration read and save, and the next one is save calibration value writing. The read and save, you click on it, click yes. And this is what's actually in the computer right now. It's already been read and learned and all that kind of stuff. And I know this is right, so we're going to go ahead and click yes. Learn value, and it's got the file name and all that kind of good stuff. And if we come back here, it opens up the screen of where I was before. And this is a couple of days ago. And this is the original file that was in the computer. that was in the transmission in the TCM. And we were trying to get it out and get this one in there, and it took me a couple tries, and I even logged it in there a couple of times just for the sake of argument. And what the temptation is to do, you say, okay, well, I've got this log right here, let me just click on it. And, well, you can save it to a file, but you're thinking, how do I pull it in? How do I get it into the vehicle? You don't need to. I guess really and truly when you're dealing with the original, you should highlight it and then send it to a flash drive. But you have to send it to a flash drive that does not have the new file on it, because it won't pick. It's just nonsense. It can only have one file on it, or it can't sort through and pick one out. So you can't do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up here to the up button, and now we're going to go to Save Calibration Value Writing and click on the check mark. Now we're back to the same screen, and we've got the file import from a CD. If you don't have the CD, you can't do anything. So what you do, I'm going to be a little bit lost right here because I have all this stuff in there. Does this say, that says save the file? We don't want to save the file. We want to import the file. So I'm going to unclick that, and this is going to be, I guess I'm not going to give you the true total answer to everything, because I can't take the chance of going back and unwriting this vehicle and going through all the nonsense you have to go through to get everything set up. So I'm going to have to talk around it some. But what you're going to have to do is, you should wind up with only the old file in this screen. And then there's going to be this button right here will be highlighted to where you can import the file. I can't remember if you have to have the flash drive already installed for that button to light up or not, but it may be that you have to have the file on the flash drive and install it to your laptop in order for that button to light up. So just be aware of that. And like I said, I'm not going to do anything else right now, but rest assured that these numbers will go into the computer after you've highlighted, after you get it up in here and you click check, and then you click on the check down here, it will transfer the files properly. But like I said, I can't take a chance on doing it. It's not my vehicle. It's actually the customer has sold it, and they're going to be picking this thing up in about less than 2 hours, so I can't be monkeying around with it too much. But hopefully that gives you some idea about what's got to be done and the nonsense involved in it. But like I said, we're not going to go there right now. Right now you're going to assume that everything else is done. So you have to go to the CVT oil degradation level, click on it, go through everything else. Oh, so this is the important thing. Never mind. Calibration value reset. You have to click on this, and God, I hope this doesn't do it. Yeah, I'm not going to click on anything else, because what you got to do is, there's a set of instructions that go along with this, that you have to put the transmission selector in reverse, hold your foot on the gas, hold your foot on the brake, vehicle not running obviously, and then click this check mark. And when you do that, it's going to dump the code that's currently in the TCU for the transmission out. And if you don't have a good one to go back in there, your transmission, when you put it back up into park, you can't get it back out. Believe me, I know. And the transmission won't shift right. It goes from bad to horrible, or it seems that way. So you would normally go through that function, click the check, do all that kind of stuff, and then it's going to bring you to another screen to bring in the file. That's where the flash drive with the file on it would be. It would be the same button would light up down here, but on this page, or the page that this one goes to. But like I said, I don't dare do this because I'm not going to monkey up with this thing. So I'm going back to here. But we're going to assume that the calibration value has been reset, and you may have to actually go back after you reset it, go back over here to calibration, right calibration value, and put it in there. Like I said, I'm not going to do that on this one because I'm not going to take a chance on doing anything stupid. So after those are done, you do the CVT oil degradation level. After that's done, you take it for a test drive where you'll be running for at least 1 minute over 25 miles an hour. And you have to do that. You really need to do it for maybe a little bit longer, leave the vehicle running, because you have to have temperature in the transmission before it'll go on to the next stage. After doing all of this, I still had the soft slip into drive when you put it in D, the shifter into D, that the customer was originally complaining about. And it didn't go away until I went to the control valve learning mode. And you have to go in there and go through the modes and do everything, and then everything works just like it's supposed to. And I'm going to talk about that at a later time. I'm not going to do it right now because, like I said, I'm not going to monkey around with this thing. Customer's going to be here to pick this thing up in less than 2 hours, and I have to get what information I can for this video together right now. I'm going to switch back over to my phone and continue discussing this. Hopefully between the phone and this, I'll be able to get enough information in there to help you. And what I'm hoping for one of you poor people out there in my area will need this done, and I can come to where you're at and do it live and get this thing set up for you and do a proper video where it shows all the ins and outs of it and just exactly how to do everything. So hopefully one of y'all will contact me that are in the South Carolina regional, the coastal South Carolina region, and maybe we can get together and do something. But for right now, I'm going to end this. Just a little bit of humor here. I have to point out you need to put something down beside the car to kneel on. At least I do, because I feel too confined in there to be sitting around with the laptop and everything most of the time. So I usually kneel outside the car and put the laptop on the seat. But you need the kneeling pad because you're going to be praying a lot through this process that it all goes okay. Yep, just thought I'd throw something on there. Now I switched over to my phone to kind of show the setup on the car. Ignition's on. The J-Boss is connected to the vehicle. The J-Boss is connected back to the laptop. And I'm in the laptop screen, and like I said, you have to take and save this file to your computer, then send it to your flash drive so you can use it later on. Now the next thing to do is you have to open the MUT3. I know it's Mitsubishi something, but I think it's Mitsubishi Universal Tool Series 3 or something like that, but couldn't they come up with a better name than MUT? It's kind of like Toyota with Toyota Racing Division. Don't they realize that it sounds out as turd? Okay, I've opened up, I've got my, and you got to log in yet again. Okay, we got to get the two-factor code now, so I got to switch screens. And I'm back here on my phone taking a video of all this. And like I was explaining earlier, you're inside the MUT3 program. You go into the ECU information. You go down here to the hardware part number, which it asks for in the very beginning of all this nonsense. And you find it. That number does you absolutely no good. Absolutely no good.
And like I was saying on the screenshot values, the right calibration value, you can read and save. I don't want to do this a 15th time, and have even more files in there. And then you have saved calibration writing. You have to go through various steps. You always got to click the check afterwards. We're not going to do all that because, like I was explaining in the other part of this video, aim my vehicle, and somebody's coming to purchase themselves a new vehicle here in about less than 2 hours. You have to, once you have all the calibration files loaded and ready to go, you have to do this calibration value reset, which we're not going to do right now, as I just explained. Normally you would, I think you got to prep the vehicle by, I don't know if it's before you click OK or after you click OK. You have to put the shifter into reverse, depress the gas pedal, depress the brake pedal. Of course, your brake pedal will be depressed already to put it in reverse, so you would want to depress the brake pedal, put it in reverse, press the gas pedal down, and listen for the freaking train coming by. Oh my Lord. We're going to wait on this thing for just a second. It's funny, I don't know if I'm supposed to make this video or not, because I was here for probably the first 5 to 10 minutes getting everything set up. The power went off. I don't know what happened. I thought maybe, oh God, is this a sign from God that I'm not supposed to be doing this today? But the train is getting quieter. You can hear the rumble in the background. But like I said, at this point, you would depress to get the brake pedal, move the shifter into reverse, depress the gas pedal, and then click OK. If it doesn't go through right, then you want to click the button first and then do the shifting sequence. And what that's going to do is it's going to take that calibration out of the TCM, so it won't know how to interact with the transmission at all. If you turn the key off and you don't do anything else, your transmission shifter will be stuck in park. And if you use the little button and push down in there over there on the shifter, you can get it into neutral and crank it up, but if you shift it in gear, it slams real hard. And you know, that's because the line pressure isn't being controlled. And then the original problem we have with this vehicle is, instead of having too high a line pressure, it's actually got too low of a line pressure. So I don't know why they do it like this, but they do. But anyways, after you've got the calibration value reset done, then you go back into the right calibration value. And then you, I don't know if it was on the other screen or this screen, but one of them is when you pull the information off of your flash drive. And like I said, after all that is done and you go back, you check the information up here. You have to go through and do the CVT oil degradation level reset, which doesn't say reset, but that's what it is. And then you have to go over here and do the control valve learning mode. When you go into that, because after I had done all the other programming on it, we still had this soft slide into drive, and that's the main physical thing that we were trying to overcome, even though all the numbers had to be right in the background. But you click on that and it tells you conditions won't be met, and you have to go test drive the vehicle above 25 miles an hour for at least a minute. I actually went about 3 miles at an average of about 40 miles an hour, and it still wasn't enough to bring the temperature up. I had to let it run a little while longer before it actually go through. And once it goes through its process and it says it's done, I think that they actually say executed. After that is done, you have to put everything back in park and turn the ignition off for at least 10 seconds. Crank it back up and check it to see if everything's all good to go. And once all that is done, there's one of these steps you can go back in there and see if that calibration file is taken. and you'll actually see the numbers. Like I said, ain't gonna do it right now. I got too much, other people have too much writing on this for me to monkey with this. So for now, I think I'm going to be going. I'll probably be doing a little bit more editing. Well, I know I'll be doing more editing because there's a bunch of rambling and nonsense in here, and there's some numbers that I need to cut out and all that kind of good jazz. So we're going to go back up here, system select, and just for the fun of it, we're going to do a, oh no, we're not doing reprogram. We got to back out of that. But yeah, if you were signed up, and this is one thing that I find amazing about this, if once you're a little bit familiar with this system, you can have the MUT3 program loaded on your laptop and have your interface. And for $19.95, you can do anything you need to do to a Mitsubishi vehicle. As far as I know, we're not going to do reprogramming. We're not going to look at the data list and all that kind of stuff. I was hoping to just go up here and look at all codes. And I think we have to go up to the particular module. No. Well, I don't know what the deal is there. Ain't going to worry about it right now, but I know we're not doing any programming. So, let's see. And just a little bit of tidbit, and I probably should have done this on the other, you got the manual here, it's got configuration, exit, topics, and I've never seen anything over here, so I don't know what's in there or not. But right now I think I'm just going to exit. And this is the part of the sign-in deal. This DXA stuff. It's Data Exchange Assistant. You have to have this set up, and it's part of the loading the program on your laptop. And you have to have that set up because that's what it uses to put in your two-factor identification code into it to make everything work. Oh well, I'm getting tired. I got to get some breakfast later.